I'm Grace.
I'm Andrea.
I'm Jake, and our research was Mexican-American immigration. So, as we all know, America is a nation of immigrants.
In fact, we're all connected to an immigrant.
We've learned in American history that newcomers drove America to its heights.
By working jobs that others weren't willing to take.
Today, Mexican Americans represent the largest group of immigrants in America.
Right now, there are about 11.7 million Mexican immigrants in the United States. They account for over 28% of the entire population and are the largest immigrant group in the country. With illegal immigration increasing, as well as recent border disputes due to the presidential election, it's become necessary to understand the conflict and propose possible solutions of reform. A lot of you may be asking, why do I care? This is very political, and why is Mexico immigration specifically such an issue? Well, as you can see from this image of the Mexican-American border, our countries are neighboring countries, meaning that we are very close and experience many connections through classmates, friends, teachers, or other people. Therefore, we need to really analyze the conflict as it won't disappear without great measures of reform. And as you can see from this image, the number of Mexican immigrants continues to increase as they search for economic and political prosperity. In fact, in 2014, we experienced the greatest number of Mexican immigrants in the United States. Americans are therefore fearful that their jobs will be taken away, neighborhoods taken over, and are also fearful for their safety. This conflict, however, is in fact double-sided. Out of all jobs, Mexican immigrants, who are the middle line in each of those bars, receive service occupations, natural resources and construction, as well as production and transportation occupations. Despite their qualifications, they continue to receive these low-grade jobs when they immigrate to the States. It leads to resentment towards Americans. They're angry, they believe it's unfair, and they want policies to change. This leads us to, although this is only part of the question, the conflict. This policy does not satisfy either American or Mexican immigrants, which led us to question, based on the Mexican-American immigration conflict, how should America reform its immigration policies? We propose 3 different solutions. The first one is amnesty.
So amnesty can be defined as granting legal status to a group of unlawfully present people in a country. And currently, there are 5.3 million children living in the U.S. who live without one or both of their parents due to deportation. In the years of 2009 to 2013, 4 million illegal immigrants have been deported, and 500,000 were parents, and has since then increased. Through the solution of amnesty, this can help keep families together, and this can also help reduce the stress on children, as a study found that 6 months after separation, 2/3 of children have had an increase in crying, fear, anxiety, changes in eating and sleeping patterns.
Along with the fact that complete amnesty suggests clear social advantages, it also proposes many economic benefits. According to the National Economic Council, immigrants are highly entrepreneurial and likely create more jobs than actually take them. In fact, between the years of 1990 and 2000, immigrants accounted for 30% of the total growth in number of small businesses during that period. And as you can see through this graph, even after 2000, it increased dramatically. Furthermore, immigrant startups created almost 3.5 million non-net farm jobs in 2005. And these startups accounted for only 3% of employment, but almost 20% of total gross job creation, indicating that amnesty will not only create more businesses, but much more jobs in conjunction. Finally, by using amnesty to eliminate illegal immigration in America, businesses are going to be allowed to held more accountable. By eradicating the common under-the-table wages associated with legals and employment, it will finally help those businesses who actually play by the rules and don't use undocumented immigrants by leveling the competitive business playing field in both businesses and wages.
So, although amnesty sounds great on paper, it would be very flawed in practice. Basically, because there's too many immigrants here already, amnesty would mean allowing 11 million immigrants to just simply become Americans at the snap of a finger. So, instead, we, after more research, we discovered that we should help legal immigration instead of just granting everyone citizenship. So this would facilitate legal immigration and would reap many of amnesty's benefits, but still be more peaceful.
As many of you know, the legalization process for immigrants can be extremely long, despite their qualifications and possible abilities to benefit society. Immigrants must spend 5 years with the green card, pass civics and history exams, demonstrate residency and a good moral character, as well as it is based on supply and demand, meaning if we need cheap labor and more people in America, more immigrants are accepted. This process is extensive, overwhelming, can be frustrating for the immigrants, and is one of the main reasons why there's so many illegal immigrants in the United States right now. This long process needs to be reformed if we wish to increase legal rather than illegal immigration.
So it costs $725 just to apply for citizenship, which is a lot for many legal immigrants and would require months of saving up. And many times they would rather just use that money for food, rents, bills, etc. And also a survey by PEW Mexican Trends found that the process of legalization hasn't even started yet because there's a 26% language barrier, meaning 26% of the people who took the survey said they haven't started yet because either they don't know English or they don't understand it well enough to take the history and civics exam, as Morgan said before. And again, as Morgan also said, it's a very frustrating, long, and hard process. So if we facilitate the legalization process, it'll increase the number of people who actually apply and reduce the number of illegal immigrants.
This is Cesar Chavez. He was a civil rights leader in the 1960s, and he was a Mexican-American immigrant. And he basically fought for civil liberties for Mexicans, and he showed us that legal citizens can abide by the same laws and fulfill their civil and economic contributions to America, meaning that legal immigrants are good for America and illegals are not as good. So that led to our next solution for the problem, which was increasing border control and security.
Although immigration itself can be considered economically beneficial, illegal immigrants can cause a number of problems. Low wages have, through competition, cost native-born Americans an average of $1,700 in annual wages in the year 2000. And furthermore, illegal immigration has cost the American government about $10 billion in 2002, simply because undocumented immigrants have managed to use $10 billion worth more of social services they've actually paid in taxes. And because these costs were reported more than a decade ago, we can logically assume that with the larger influx of immigrants we have today, that these statistics are even more severe, thus rendering increased border control a very considerable option.
So just to recap, basically, legals produce jobs and taxable income, while illegals simply are not responsible to U.S. law and can't pay taxes, so they can't generate revenue for our country. So it's basically better to have legal immigrants. And that brings us to the wall.
According to Trump's proposal, Mexico will apparently pay for this reform, which will save America a lot of money. But yet, according to more conservative perspectives, even if Mexico does not pay for this wall, the economic benefits that we mentioned before of completely eliminating illegal immigration will pay for itself. Moreover, this project will at least benefit some nearby quarries and factories in Mexico, thereby helping out the Mexican economy as well as the American economy to a limited extent. However, Trump assumes that this project will cost a mere $10 billion, when according to a variety of economists, it will in reality cost about $25 billion. $25 billion that we don't actually have. Furthermore, through this reform, Trump is severely underestimating the value of the U.S.-Mexican trade border. For not only is the total value of trade in Mexico and U.S. each day over $1 billion, but more than 20% of all U.S. jobs are tied in some way along another to the Mexican border. And because this wall will likely hurt such an economically crucial relationship, it is completely necessary that we look at other solutions.
So, we've decided through research and discussion that one solution is not enough to combat the many conflicts brought upon by Mexican-American immigration. With all the social, political, and economic factors, we've decided that increasing border control, while also making it easier for an immigrant to become a legal American citizen, will be the best measure of reform for the American immigration system.
So, unlike many of the problems we've seen, the future looks bright for our nation. In 2013, a bill nearly passed, but was killed in the House of Representatives. The bill was to transform American immigration by solving many of the issues that we presented here today. It was even called the Border Security, Economic Opportunity, and Immigration Modernization Act. It was basically a compromise between Republicans and Democrats to fix the broken immigration system. Although killed, remnants of the bill can still be seen today in Paul Ryan's immigration plan for the next 4 years. He praises key points in the bill and is currently the leader of the majority party in Congress. If newfound efforts will be made on immigration through legislation and not through executive orders as seen by Trump, then they will be made under these circumstances. And for that, we can look to a positive and optimistic future and optimistic America.
Grace, can you talk to us about an example of one of your peers' arguments that you chose to exclude and why?
Yeah, for sure. So Jake Research actually, part of his research was a proposed solution in which visas were radically changed, such as instead of having visas be granted to people who have like more social excuses to get to America, it would be for economic reasons. And we thought that might have been a considerable solution, but because it kind of distracted from our overall and better arguments, we decided to exclude it.
Andrea, can you tell me what specifically, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted here, all these good questions. Can you tell me how your presentation changed as a result of the discussions that you had as a group?
Okay, so I argued for amnesty and for facilitating the legalization process. So, and I also had a prior bias to it, so I was very against increasing border control, but talking with the group, we decided to compromise and make it a two-part solution. So that definitely like kind of broadened my opinions on the whole conflict.
Great, thank you.
Jake, can you talk to me about one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of this group project?
Yeah, so I didn't really know a lot of what was happening in America based on immigration before this project. So when I saw Andrea's and Grace's and Morgan's lenses all put together in one solution, it really like opened my eyes to what I can look at it now.
And Morgan, what's the strongest counter argument to the solution or conclusion your team identified?
I think definitely one would be this last part with the bill. It was, Congress did not accept it, so I think that it really is important to see that although they did not accept it then, and it was denied, that we can use this now and use new legislation as the conflict has grown to kind of fix it now.
Great. Thank you very much.